All right, Shalom Israel, you live with the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Priest and Captain Soccer War holding down the class live from Memphis, Tennessee. Every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we have classes here in Memphis from 6 to 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. The school here in Memphis is located at 3000 Walnut Grove Road, Suite 215. Again, 3000 Walnut Grove Road, Suite 215 is the address. The calling number to the school is 901-249-0085. Again, 901-249-0085. All you brothers and sisters tuning in, if you have family, loved ones, people you care about in the Memphis, Tennessee, and surrounding areas, get them in contact with the ISUPK. Since 1969, the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge has been teaching so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians the truth according to the Bible. What is the truth? The truth is that so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians descend from the greatest people that have ever walked the face of the earth. The Bible identifies us as the lost 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. And in the year 2024, there's nothing more important than for God's chosen people to learn the truth of who they are, where they come from, and what their purpose is on the earth. With that being said, we like to start these. We had these classes to give brothers and sisters an opportunity to go into this book called the Bible to gain the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that the Most High has placed therein, so that we can come back to being the people that He called us to be and reclaim our righteous place on the earth as kings, princes, priests, princesses, and daughters of Zion. With that being said, I'd like to open up the class with questions. Any brothers or sisters have questions in the classroom, all you have to do is raise your hand. If you have any questions online, all you got to do is type them in, and we'll answer your questions, all right? If nobody has any questions, tonight we're going to go into the topic of anyone, anytime, and any place, all right? So breakdown on just staying prepared and ready to battle any spirit that may try to provoke you to go against the will of the Most High. Everybody understands? So that's the class. We're going to go into it tonight if nobody has any questions, all right? Again, it's going to be another short class. Normally, these classes about 2 hours, but the class is going to be a little short tonight because of the slavery, and I'm also getting started a little late, all right? But let's go ahead and get into it. Any questions in the classroom? Okay. Give it a second for any questions that's online. And nobody has any questions. We're gonna go ahead and get right into the breakdown. All right. All right. All right. So, there's no questions. We're gonna go ahead and get into tonight's breakdown. First scripture we're gonna go to is First Peter chapter 5, verse 8. You understand? It's important to recognize the many different ways that you could be tried and tested just in your daily life, striving to serve the Most High. You understand? Whether it's at your job, whether it's at school, whether it's in your household, whether it's riding down the street and you sitting in traffic. There are always different opportunities that your enemy will take to attack you. When I'm speaking of your enemy, I'm talking about the who it is you battle in the spirit to stay right with the Most High. Everybody understands? And oftentimes that battle can take on many different forms, man. And so you have to always be aware and be prepared to have to battle spiritually. And that battle for most of us takes place inside of our minds. It's knowing how to react or how to respond to different situations. It's knowing how to avoid confrontation or to heighten your level of aggression to face confrontation under the right situation and circumstances. But it's a lot of nuance and a lot of, you know, small things that you have to acknowledge and pay attention to in order to make sure that you are never caught off guard or caught lacking when it comes to being ready to stand your ground and fight in the spirit. All right, so this first scripture we're gonna go to it gives you the understanding of that. We're going to First Peter chapter 5, verse 8. First Peter chapter 5, verse 8. I'm gonna put it up here. All right. First Peter chapter 5, verse 8. All right. First Peter chapter 5, verse 8 says, be sober and be vigilant. What does that mean? To be sober means to be clear-minded. Everybody understands. To be vigilant means to be uh, aggressive or not uncompromised. As a matter of fact, let's go ahead and get the definition of the word vigilant so we can get an understanding of what it means to be vigilant. All right? Vigilant. All right. Vigilant means to be alertly watchful, especially to avoid danger. Everybody understands? To be vigilant means to be alertly watchful, especially to avoid danger. That's a good word. That's what we are in the UPK. In the UPK, we are vigilant. You understand? That's what the Shamar is all about. That's what brothers, all the training that we receive in the UPK is about being vigilant. It's important to be vigilant. Everybody understands? Here in First Peter chapter 5 and 8, it says, be sober, be vigilant. Why? Because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. Everybody understands? Your enemy is walking around like a lion looking for somebody to pounce on. And if he can catch you in the grocery store, catch you at your job, catch you driving in traffic, he's going to find you wherever he can and he is going to attack. Everybody understands? And that is why you have to be sober and vigilant, always looking for danger, always looking for the next test, always looking for how Satan is going to try you in order to be able to stand strong when those times arise. Everybody understand? Verse 9, whom resist steadfast in the faith. You have to resist steadfastly. To be steadfast means to be strongly rooted or grounded. Everybody understands? To be steadfast on something is to be determined, to be uncompromising. You have to resist your adversary, the devil, steadfastly in the faith. Meaning what? Trusting in the Most High. Knowing that the same afflictions are accomplished in your brothers that are in the world. You understand? You have been given the armor. You have been given the weapons needed in order to fight your adversary, the devil. Who is your adversary, the devil? Who is your enemy, which is what an adversary is? In your spiritual battle, your spiritual fight, who is your adversary, the devil? And I'm not asking, we all know that Satan is the adversary, right? Satan is the spirit responsible for testing us and trying us. But when we encounter Satan, when we battle with Satan, how do we battle with him? Where do we battle Satan? Kapatazam. In our head. In your head. You understand? Even if Satan is in someone else, whatever that someone else is saying or doing, they're trying to get a response or a reaction out of you. So at the end of the day, where you determine what your next step is going to be is how you fight Satan. You understand? There's always a way out of any situation or circumstance you find yourself in if you just take time to think. If you take time to analyze the situation and respond the right way, you can avoid a bad situation getting worse. Everybody understands. But you have to know that anytime your buttons are being pushed or anytime you're being placed in in a compromised situation, it's Satan that is at the core of it. Satan is the one who you are battling, and how you determine what is the best way to respond, what is the best way to react. Everybody understand? And as you grow in the truth, your tests and your battles in the world, will become different. Like I remember being young in the truth, and somebody might have tried to pass me some weed, and I'm like, nah, man, I don't smoke. I wasn't mad at them for trying to pass me the weed. I had to recognize that within myself, there was a decision to be made. Am I going to smoke it? Or am I going to say, nah, man, I don't smoke no more? You understand? The test is, are you going to smoke? But this person that's passing me this weed, they passing the weed to everybody. They not personally attacking me by passing me the weed. It's up to me to say, nah, man, I don't smoke that. I don't do that.
So, like so if okay, and it's this for okay, even now, is it something that that's still being shown on you that
no,
okay,
it's not. Again, a lot of the times people test you and try you, they don't even know that they're testing you and trying you.
Okay.
A lot of the times people don't even know who you are, right, or know your they don't know you enough to know what'll try you or what'll test you. Okay. So you have to know that anytime those tests come up, it's the Lord. Okay. Seeing how am I going to respond? How am I going to react? Mm-hmm. A lot of the times the tests that we experience, they're repetitive. A lot of the things we battle against in the world, it's repetition. Yeah. And what you learn is if you don't learn how to deal with this the first time around, oh, it's gonna come around again. And if you don't learn the second time and you suffer the consequences, it's gonna come around again. And it'll keep coming around until you learn to stand against it. And once you conquer that thing and you accomplish, you know, overcoming that hurdle, guess what? It's gonna come around again. And you have to continue to stay beyond that test. But that doesn't mean that the test is gonna stop. As we grow in the truth and we continue to, progress through life, you'll never stop telling people that you don't celebrate holidays. There's never going to be a Christmas season that come around and people not going to say happy holidays and Merry Christmas to you. So guess what? Every year you gotta. I don't do that. I don't celebrate that. Yeah. Thank you, but no thank you. Or no, I don't partake in that. And you go to a new job and everybody happy birthday, and you gotta tell them, no, I don't celebrate birthdays, man. No, that's not something I do. Yeah. And you gotta explain to them why and what your culture is and how you live your life. And that's crazy. That's wild. You'll never stop having those conversations. Those things continue to come up. Go to a cookout. Nah, man, I don't eat no pork. You don't eat pork, what? You'll never stop having that conversation. But when you first coming into the truth, some of those things are difficult. Some of those, it's difficult to acknowledge certain things or to say, nah, I don't do this and I don't do that. But as you overcome those hurdles, it's you constantly being reconfirmed that this is something I've conquered because it's going to continue to come back around. Everybody understands? And it's important to know that the things that you're able to overcome, think about all the people who can't overcome them. That's why the last part of the scripture in First Peter chapter 5 and 9 says, whom resist steadfast in the faith, meaning you resisting the devil strong in the faith, right? Mm-hmm. Knowing that the same afflictions are accomplished in your brothers that are in the world. How many people, when they pass that blunt, are going to take it and smoke? Mm-hmm. How many people, when that holiday season come around, are going to fold under the pressure of celebrating Christmas with their family? How many brothers right now stressing about this goddamn Valentine's Day coming up in a week? Stressing about these flowers and these chocolates and these candies. Because if I don't get her this Valentine's Day, I might lose my woman. And it's stressing, it's pressure, and it's hell. But guess what? If you don't go through it in this year, February 14th, rolling right back around in 12 months. You're going to one day have to take a stand and have to say, I'm not doing this thing no more. And whatever comes as a result of that, live with that, knowing that I did the right thing. I stood with the Lord. Everybody understands. But it's necessary to always be, have your head on a swivel and always be on the lookout for the ways in which Satan is going to try and test you. All right. If I could, for brothers and sisters tuning in, let me get a 1 in the chat if y'all hearing me. All right. Let me get a 1 if the sound is coming through clear. All right. So we're going to drop that. We're going to drop First Peter chapter 5, verse 8. Let's go to Hebrews chapter 13, verse 2. All right. And again, at any time, in any place, by anyone, your spirit can be tested to see if you are someone who is standing with the Lord on that. And it's important to remember that you never know when or how the Most High is going to try you. I know for me personally, man, when I first started slaving, right? I got a slavery now down here. And when I first got on the slavery, I said to myself, man, I'm just going to be a regular guy at this place. Go in here and work this job, do this 9 to 5, get my little hours and come home, right? I'm not going to go there and stand out and be a super Israelite brother. I just want to go in here and work this job and just go home, make my money, right? And then inevitably, being in this place, Satan found me, and Satan called me out, just with different situations and circumstances. You can't hide who you are in the truth. You can go somewhere and try to blend in and just be a regular guy, and then Satan is going to call you out to where you have to make it known who you are.
That's right.
And so you got to be ready, man, to deal with that. You got to be ready to battle, battle spiritually and stand your ground, right, no matter where you may find yourself. And like I said, it'll come in the form of somebody celebrating a birthday or somebody, throwing a holiday party and asking you to bring a plate or something to contribute. And you're gonna have to let them know, nah, man, I don't celebrate that. Right. I don't deal in that. And it's necessary to understand that being in the truth, you have to build yourself up to fight against the world. Because if you aren't building yourself up to fight against the world, then the world is going to overthrow you. Like the one thing about people in the world, the one thing about the world is that our oppressor isn't passive about pushing his culture and his traditions and his way of life on us. When it comes to culture, culture isn't something that people adopt passively. You understand what I'm saying? Like people say, I grew up Christian. I grew up, celebrating Christmas and celebrating Thanksgiving and this and that. And because of the way you're raised, you may think that I just grew up this way. When the reality is, this way of life has been forced on you from your birth. This way of life was forced on your parents from birth. It was forced on your grandparents from birth. Black people don't celebrate Christmas because it's just something that we do. Black people celebrate Christmas because Christmas has been forced on us for 100 years. Since there were televisions and since there was music, radios that played music, there were Christmas songs. Every December it rolls around, there's the Frosty the Snowman cartoon and Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and Old Christmas Tree. All of that is culture. And culture isn't something that you adopt passively. A culture is something that is ingrained in you, something that is programmed into you. Everybody understands. Even if you're someone in America who never celebrated Christmas, you know Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Yeah. You know Frosty the Snowman. You know old Saint Nick. Hell, you could be somebody who never celebrated Christmas, but I know you saw a Coca-Cola commercial with the polar bears and Santa Claus. All of that is that's culture. It's something that's being forced on you, being pushed on you. Everybody understands. Celebrating your birthday, Valentine's Day in elementary school. What's happening around Valentine's? They're making the kids give each other Valentine's Day cards. You bring in the little candies with the hearts and the Be Mine candy. That's culture. Everybody understands. St. Patrick's Day, where everybody put on green, and the 4th of July, where it's the fireworks. How you gonna hide from fireworks? You can't avoid the 4th of July growing up in America. You're celebrating this 4th of July. Mother's Day, Father's Day. You can't run from Mother's Day. All the flowers, all the ads on the internet, on the commercials, all the television, that's culture. Everybody understands. And if you're going to adopt the culture of God, then you have to be just as aggressive with this culture as your oppressor is with theirs. So the same way they're going to celebrate a birthday party, they're going to celebrate Christmas at work, celebrate Valentine's Day. You have to be just as adamant about not doing it as they are about including everybody in it. Everybody understands? All right, so this is Hebrews chapter 13. We're going to go to verse 2. And this is a scripture about being ready at any time to have a discernment of knowing what spirit it is that you are dealing with. Everybody understands? Hebrews chapter 13, verse 2 says, be not forgetful to entertain strangers. Everybody understands? Be not forgetful to entertain strangers, for thereby some have entertained angels unawares. Everybody understands? It's important not to forget to entertain strangers. I was telling my rib the other day at the slavery, right? That's a little area where some of us like to hang out. It's a little office that we get, right? And I'm very, just because of who I am and the truth, I'm very mindful of who comes into spaces that they're not invited into, right? So even though this little office is public, anybody has access to this little office, it's our office. You know what I'm saying? And if you ain't one of us, what is you doing in this office? Why are you in here? And I be very defensive about who are you? Why are you here? Who told you could come in here and hang out? This ain't, you know what I'm saying? Well, in this little space where we hang out, the other day I come into work and there's some random people that's in this space. They not random because I know they work in the area, but we don't know y'all. We don't fuck with y'all. Why y'all in our office? And I come in there and I'm bothered by their presence, but I don't say that. I just come, hey, what's up with y'all? You know what I'm saying? I give my little phone off the charger, you know what I'm saying? I sit around for a little while and then I leave out. My half an hour go by, I come back in the office and they still in there. And I'm like, man, what the fuck is they in this office for? Why they here? And I sit there and they still sitting there talking and stuff. I leave out. I come back in there the third time. And this is about 2.5 hours after I got to work. 3 hours. Normally the room is cleared by now. They still in there. And so I can't not say nothing no more. I tell the one brother, he's sitting at the desk. I say, hey man, I need to get back there. I gotta use the computer right quick. So he get up from the computer. And I go and I sit back down there and I'm acting like I'm typing, doing something. I'm not. I'm really just trying to make them uncomfortable because y'all in my goddamn, y'all in our area. Now, none of the other people I work with have come into the room yet. Normally, by the time I'm talking about, it'd have been about 4 or 5 of us in the room chilling. Yeah. But on this particular day, nobody else is coming to the room. It's just me in there with these random motherfuckers. So I'm sitting there and I'm listening to them talking. And it's 2 boys and it's a girl. And the brothers is talking about this guy named Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate is a cat that used to make content about dealing with women, right? And about men being masculine and taking back your strength and different things like that. Now, Andrew Tate, that was the controversial things that he would say had to do with women, right? And so I'm listening to these young brothers talking, and the one brother like, yeah, man, I fuck with Andrew Tate, man. I be listening to his stuff, man. You know what I'm saying, this and that. And the other brother like, man, I don't like him, man, because the way he be talking about women, man, it's like he be talking down like women are stupid and they ain't got no, they can't think for themselves. Like, nah, man, like you know what I'm saying? My mother is a good woman. She, got businesses and stuff. So I'm listening to them talk. And the one dude was like, nah, man, Andrew Tate to help me with my relationship, this and that. And so they're battling about this guy. One of them saying, I don't like him because he talked down on women. The other one saying, yeah, but nah, he helped me get some strength. You know what I'm saying? And I couldn't help. I couldn't not chime in. Yeah. So I just spoke. I said, man, F Andrew Tate and all them type of cats that be making them podcasts talking down on women. I said, I started going, I said, Andrew Tate is the type of cat that got rejected by women all his life. All through high school when he was younger, he was a little wimpy kid and all the girls he wanted rejected him. And so now that he done got older, got some money, the only way he can deal with those kinds of women is to try and talk down on them and make them feel, to belittle them. I said, there's a lot of men use that as a tactic. They put women down to try and raise themselves up. And I said, that's not honorable. You know what I'm saying? And the type of women he deal with, he talking about women that's chasing after money, women that's just looking to get a man for what he got. I said, man, them cats that's not real life. So I got to going into the Andrew Tate cat. And so the one brother that liked the guy was saying, well, nah, you right. Some of the stuff he be saying about women be off. But, he kind of just taught me a little bit about being a man and being masculine and strong. And I said, well, I understand that. I said, he is some of the stuff he was saying about being self-motivated, you know what I'm saying? And as a man, you got to make your own way in this world. You can't depend on nobody and just wait for a handout. I said, some of that stuff is good. I said, but you got to be careful who it is that you're learning from. You got to look at somebody's background, look at their actions, look at how they live their life to see if they fit to be somebody that you can pattern yourself after. I said, Andrew Tate, not that cat. So then the other guy that was saying he didn't like the guy was saying, yeah, man, I wish I had some. I was like, what I'm saying? If you're a brother that's looking for some strength and looking for some guidance, you got to find some men in your life that you can go to for answers. You know what I'm saying? And one brother was like, man, I wish I was just telling my girl. So the girl that's in the room is his girlfriend. He's like, I was just telling my girl, man, I wish I had some men in my life that I could look up to, that I could go to when I got problems. And, I got things that I don't know how to deal with. And I'm like, well, shit, brother, you need to come holler at me, man. That's what I do. I got an organization and this and that. Long story short, that conversation turned into us for about the next hour talking about the truth and talking about getting your life together and following the path of righteousness and obeying the Most High and doing what you're supposed to do. And it was a positive. It turned out to be something beautiful for me and for these brothers because they were able to learn that, damn, they are men that I could learn from. There is a place I can go to be able to get help. There is somewhere I can go to learn and to better myself. And it's right here in the city. Yeah. Now, if I did not entertain them, then how we would never have been able to get to that place. Yes, sir. Because of my willingness to have a conversation with them, even though they was mad, I was pissed off they in my room. Even though I'm mad they in my space, I had to not. I'm thankful that I had the wisdom to not say something or do something that would have made it impossible for us to have that conversation. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? We had that conversation. I gave both of the brothers, they gave me their numbers. I texted them when I got off work, told them, hey, man, y'all need something, holler at me. You know what I'm saying? And so now there's a bridge that's been established between me and these young brothers, and they possibly could be in class one day, possibly could come into the truth, all because I entertained them. Don't block yourself off from having interactions with people that you don't know, because you never know how spiritually the Most High could be using you to wake them up, to bring them into the truth. Everybody understands? Now, here's what's wild about all of that. I just thought about it now. After, like I said, I got off work that day. This was on a Friday. I text those brothers, right? Make sure they had my number, told them they needed something to holler at me. I have not seen the one brother since that day. The little light-skinned cat. Him and his girl was there. It was him and they looked like they could be brother and sister. That was the first day I saw them at work, and they have not been there the past 2 days. So it's like that one day they happened to be there was the day that was meant for us to have that conversation, and it would not have taken place if I didn't just open myself up to being who I am as a man of the Lord in that situation. Everybody understand? And be careful not to be rude and to be mean and to be dismissive to people who you don't know, regardless of the situation, because you never know how, again, the Most High could be bringing this person in contact with you because you have something that the Most High needs for them to receive, which is the truth. Everybody understand? Again, Hebrews 13:2. Be not forgetful to entertain strangers, for thereby some have entertained angels unawares. This homeless person asking you for change, or this rude person at the grocery store. Who knows what the situation may be? It could be an angel that you're entertaining. It could be someone the Lord has brought into your life to test you and to try you, or someone the Lord brought to you so that they could cross paths with a man and a woman of God and they could learn from you. Don't be forgetful to entertain strangers. Everybody understands? Verse 3, remember them that are in bonds as bound with them, and them which suffer adversity as being yourselves also in the body. Everybody understands? There are a lot of people that suffer from a lot of things. Don't forget those people. You got your health and you got your bills paid, and the Most High is with you. You're gonna encounter some people who they homeless, they broke, they sick, they've been discarded, they've been forgotten. Nobody in the world cares for them. Have some respect for them brothers and sisters. Deal with them the way that you would want for someone to deal with you. Have some compassion, because you never know who it is the Lord is sending to you to see how you're going to deal with them. I watched and of course, this is the internet, but it was a story that came across my algorithm earlier. It was a short on on Facebook, and it was a sister saying that she had got out of prison and she was living in a halfway house. She was looking for housing. And there was this guy that would come by her job, and she asked him, he was like a property manager or janitor at some apartments. And she asked him, hey, what I'm saying, the apartments you work at, do they need any tenants? You got any openings? I'm looking for a place. And she said he gave her the number and said, call, man, tell her brother you're looking for a place. And she said she called the number and told him she was looking for a place, but nobody had got back to her. And she said at her job that night, she worked at Subway, a homeless man came in and asked, could he get a sandwich? And she said, yeah, man, no problem. He asked her, can I tell you how to make the sandwich? So she made the sandwich for him, made sure he fed, and went on his way. She said the next day at work, some handsome guy came up to order some food, had on nice clothes and stuff, and he asked her, could he get a sandwich? She said, yeah. And he asked her, can I tell you how to make it? She said it was the way he said it was the same as the homeless man the night before. And she was like, ain't you that homeless dude? Aren't you homeless? And he was like, no, I'm not homeless. I just like to check on the people who looking for housing at my establishments to see if they fit. So the homeless guy from the night before was the guy who was in charge of letting people get the apartments.
Oh, wow.
And she hadn't fed him, or who knows, if she had dealt with him the wrong way, he would have looked at her like, well, I can't help this broad out. Wow. So you never know who you encountering and who you crossing paths with, what they there for. That's right. What those chance encounters are about. So don't be quick to dismiss somebody because they poor, or because they sick, or because they got an attitude, or because they, hell, you never know. Somebody having a bad day, you speaking calmly to them could take that demon off of them. Could take that, get that monkey off their back, so to speak. So always be prepared and be ready to deal with a brother or a sister as a brother and a sister. Everybody understand? All right, so let's drop that. Let's go to Job chapter 2, verse 7. All right. What we're going to see here in the book of Job is that Satan can use anybody at any time to try to push you over the edge. So the same way that you have to be, the same way that you got to be sober and be vigilant to face Satan, in the same way you can't be forgetful to entertain strangers, you also have to be aware of the way Satan can use anybody to try and push your buttons or try and push you over the edge. Everybody understands? This is Job chapter 2, verse 7. Job 2 and 7 says, So went Satan forth from the presence of the Lord, and smote Job with sore boils from the sole of his foot unto his crown. So Satan came to Job in the form of sickness in his body. You understand? An ailment to his health. And for many brothers and sisters, that is how Satan will try you sometimes. Satan will try you in your body, in your flesh. He'll attack you in your in your body to see how you handle it and how you respond. Many times, man, your body begins to fail you. You can be in a position where you question God. You could be in a position where you ask, man, why would the Lord allow this to happen to me? You have to also understand that sometimes physical sickness is a test from the Lord. It is the Lord allowing you to be tried to see how strong will you endure? How strong is your faith? How much will you trust him in the midst of your body failing you? And in Job's test, Job's body was failing him. After losing his family, losing his wealth, Job got sick. You understand? And Job got boils all over his body from the top of his head down to the sole of his feet. Everybody understands? Job chapter 2, verse 8. And he took him a potsherd to scrape himself withal, and he sat down among the ashes. So he took a potsherd is like I won't say a fork. It's like something you clean a pot with, right? He took that to scratch his skin, scratch his body with, to soothe the ailment, the boils and shit. The boils and stuff in his skin. So in the midst of all of this evil and all of the tragedy that had befallen Job, the one person you think would be in his corner would be his woman. The one person that would be there to hold him down would be his wife. After seeing all these things happen to Job, and to see him sitting there among the ashes of all that had fallen down on him, and to see him there sick and covered in boils and scratching his body with a potsherd, this is what Job's wife said to him. Job 2 and 9. Then said his wife unto him, dost thou still retain thine integrity? Curse God and die. Mm. If if it wasn't enough insult that Job had lost all the things that he lost, if it wasn't enough pain that his children had died and he lost all his wealth and now his body was failing him, the one person that was there to comfort him, the one person that was there to um, strengthen him, the one person that was there to offer a good word, a kind word to keep his spirits up would have been his wife. But in that moment, Satan was present. And Satan, in his wife, said to him, you still maintain your integrity. Why don't you curse God and die? Just give it up. You still trying to hold on. You still praying. You still having faith in God. Don't you see that there ain't no God? Don't you see that God is against you? Why don't you just curse him and die? Just give it up. It's over, Job. It's done. That's his wife. Think about your times when you've been down and when you've been going through it. Imagine your mother or your father, or for the case of a sister, your husband, or in the case of a brother, your wife or your children coming to you and saying, why are you still doing this thing? You should just give it up. That's what happened to Job. Imagine coming into the truth and you change your life for the Lord. And so you can't be a bouncer at the strip club no more. You give up your strip club bouncer job, or you can't sell no more dope. You give up the weed game. You leave, you stop selling pills. You understand? Or hell, you give up your career job in the government as a, military officer or policeman. And now you got to try to find an alternative. You got to try and find another way to make money and to live your life and to provide for your family. And then somebody who you love coming to you and say, oh, you just a broke ass nigga. Ever since you got in that truth, you ain't getting no money. You used to wear nice clothes. Where the charger at? Where the this and where the that? You like, well, I ain't got the money for that no more. Oh, you just some broke ass nigga. Right. It's like, damn, bitch, I'm serving God. I'm trying to get my spirit right. Right. All you care about is the money? All you care about is a nigga dressing nice and riding clean? Damn, I thought you really liked me for me. Right. I tell y'all all the time, when I cut my dreadlocks coming to the truth, and it was women. I had women. Oh, I had some women. I cut them dreads off, and them hoes get data. I mean, nothing had changed yet. I wasn't broke yet or nothing. I still had the money, still had the car. I still was that nigga. I just cut the dreads off. Them hoes was gone. They was done. One answered the phone. One answered the phone. And I'm like, man, what's up, man? I'm trying to come see you. She was like, man, I seen you cut your dreads. I'm like, yeah, I'm saying I'm in the middle, making some changes and things. She was like, yeah, I can't do it, boo. I'm like, what? She was like, yeah, nah, you shouldn't have cut them dreads off. I'm like, damn, it's like that. She's like, I mean, nah, but it's just like you no more. I'm like, dang. I had to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? But that was rough. Yeah, damn. But Satan, like the Lord will show you who's in your life the right way and who's not. And in Job's weakest moment, Job's wife said, nigga, give it up. Yeah. Just stop. All this, what you still gonna try? You still trying to be righteous? You still trying to serve God? Don't you see God ain't fucking with you? Excuse my language. That's that could happen to you. Yeah. You understand? Kapata's up.
Not like you said, you think about how black women really do talk. Like I see them in Ross going in, just standing at the counter cap, and the dude don't pay for their stuff. You yeah. You do this and you that, and they just go in like black people mouth is brutal. So I can only imagine how she talking to him. Yeah. Just rough, like. Yeah. You know what I mean?
And a lot of the times, unfortunately for brothers, Satan will be in your woman at the absolute worst time. Right. Like, don't be vulnerable and actually need her. That's when Satan is going to be there. And it's hard as a man a lot of the times to deal with that reality that, man, I don't always need her like that. But then when I do need her, that's when she decides to flip the script. That's when she decided to act out. And it's just like, man, it's rough. Job had one of them. All right, everybody understands. Now, here's how Job responded. Here's how Job dealt with that woman at that time. Job chapter 2, verse 10. But he said unto her, Thou speakest as one of the foolish women speaketh. What, shall we receive good at the hand of God, and shall we not receive evil? In all this did not Job sin with his lips. Everybody understands. Job knew Satan was trying him. Job knew that he was being attacked by the words of his wife. And Job, in the midst of all of that, responded the way that a man of God would respond. He responded with an awareness and with a wisdom that everyone should learn from. You understand? Regardless of what you're going through and regardless of who is present to offer a critique or to try and give you advice, you have to stand on what you know to be true. And what you know to be true is that the Most High will never leave you nor forsake you as long as you stand with Him. So any difficulty or turmoil you're facing in your life, it could just be a test. And maybe the test is to see if you'll stand with the Lord and retain your integrity, or if you'll follow the counsel of Satan and give it up and die. Everybody understand? I'm saying thanks to be the Most High for Job that he stood and maintained his integrity. Everybody understands? All right. Next scripture we're going to go to is Luke chapter 22, verse 47. All right. Luke chapter 22, verse 47. It's important that you remember that just because you may have a zeal for God and you may have a determination to stand with the Most High and you may have the spirit from a spirit from the Most High to endure unto the end and to obey Him, it doesn't mean that'll be so for all the people that are around you. All right. And a lot of the times, the most difficult thing to face being in the truth is having people who you believe care about you, who you believe love you, who you believe got your back, to show themselves to be disloyal and to show themselves to not really care as much as you thought they cared. Everybody understand? This is something that our King Yahushua dealt with as well. The beautiful thing about learning the truth about Christ is to understand that every single thing that you may encounter and that you may endure and that you may go through in life, he went through it first. Everybody understand? We're going to Luke chapter 22, verse 47. You think you know betrayal. You think you know being, backdoored. You think you know what it means to be let down and to have people who will stab you, smile in your face and stab you in the back. Well, the nigga that turned our king in was one of his 12 disciples, one of his brothers that he rolled with. You understand? You never know who Satan is going to be in to try and attack you or to let you down in the worst way. Everybody understands? The story of our king is the story of recognizing and understanding that Satan can be in anyone at any time. And in the moment that they are revealed to you, it doesn't mean you have to put up a fight, you have to kill them, or you have to attack them. Sometimes it's just the acknowledgement that, damn, you wasn't really in this thing like I thought you were, that you need to be at peace. Everybody understands? That's all Christ knew one of these brothers is going to betray me. One of these brothers is not who they say they are. But he still allowed Judas to roll. Still allowed Judas to be around. Still let him be counted among the 12 with the hope and the prayer that maybe the brother will stand strong. Maybe the brother will resist. But he did not. Everybody understands. Luke chapter 22, verse 47. And while he yet spake, behold, a multitude, and he that was called Judas, one of the 12, went before them and drew near unto Jesus to kiss him. The kiss is a dap. You understand? A kiss is a salute. Judas came forward. Judas saluted Yahweh or Jesus. But Jesus said unto him, Judas, betrayest thou the Son of Man with a kiss? When they that which were about him saw what would follow, they said unto him, Lord, shall we smite with the sword? Everybody understands. So when Judas came before everybody and dapped Christ, the brothers, the 12 disciples knew, what should we do, sir? Should we fight? Should we roll on these niggas? And Christ had to tell them no. You understand? Understand this. When Judas came with that multitude out to get Christ, out there in the Garden of Gethsemane, right? If Christ would have gave the word, him and the disciples would have fought. and they could have won. You understand? How do we know they could have won? Because the next verse 50, Luke 22 and 50. And one of them smote the servant of the high priest and cut off his right ear. Everybody understands? That was Peter that did that. Peter, when they came to get Christ, Peter pulled out a sword and cut a nigga ear off. Now, anybody that's trained in any type of combat, any type of fighting, it's a very skilled maneuver to cut a nigga's ear off with a sword. Everybody understands? I don't even care. I don't care if you grab the nigga by the ear and cut it off, or got a nigga in a headlock and cut an ear off. If a group of niggas is coming out to capture somebody, and you able to draw a sword and cut a nigga's ear off, you're very proficient with that sword. That's a weapon you've worked with and trained with and battled with. You're battle tested to where you can cut a nigga's ear off. Christ and the disciples was not no punks. They were not no soft men. They were not no weak men. Everybody understands. When they came to get Christ, they came prepared for a fight. But because of the spirit that Christ had on him, he told them, man, stand down. We ain't got to fight this. We ain't got to go to war with these cats. I'll go with them. Everybody understands. But it could have went down. And if it have went down, Christ and his disciples would have won. But Christ, understanding the time, said, nah, man, it's too late for all that. Don't even worry about that. Everybody understands. But it's important to recognize that Christ was betrayed by a brother, someone he considered close to him, someone that knew him and understood him and learned from him. Still, in the end, it was one of those brothers that turned him in. You understand? Knowing this, it's important to always be mindful of the constant possibility of different spirits and different, spirits is the word I'm going to go with. You just got to be able to have a discernment of spirits and be able to read the vibe on people to know if they coming in the spirit of the Lord, or if they're coming in the spirit of the enemy. Everybody understands? And you don't always have to fight the enemy in someone else. A lot of the times you have to fight the spirit that's on that person from getting into you. Everybody understands? And so you got to be sober. You got to be vigilant. You got to be prepared and ready to fight anytime, any place, and against anyone, because you never know when you're going to have to fight. Everybody understand? With that, we're going to get ready to close out the class. The Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge out of 1 West 125th Street in Harlem, New York. We got a school here in Memphis, man. The address is 3000 Walnut Grove Road. Calling number calling number is 901-249-0085. You brothers and sisters tuning in, if you got family, loved ones, people you care about in the Memphis, Tennessee, and surrounding areas, get them in contact with the ISUPK. Since 1969, we have been teaching so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians the truth according to the Bible. What is the truth? Truth is that so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians descend from the greatest people that have ever walked the face of the earth. The Bible identifies us as the lost 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. In the year 2024, there is nothing more important than for God's chosen people to learn the truth of who we are, where we come from, and what our purpose is on the earth. With that being said, you brothers and sisters, man, I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Like and share the class. Tell your folks about what we got going on down here in Memphis, man. And build yourself up to be able to stand strong and fight to endure and to continue to fight this battle that we are all in spiritually. Tomorrow for class, I might go into Ephesians, the 6th chapter, and talk about the armor of God, all right? With that, see y'all for class tomorrow. Israel Shalom.